We're on chapter 12 of the Voyager's book. And chapter 12 says, Author's Closing Statement, 1998. In early June 1998, I began the final proof work of my book, Voyagers, The Sleeping Abductees, in preparation for its intended fall 1998 release date, following a joint physical encounter event that took place on October 25th, 1997, in which a tremendous amount of new data was given. The bridge zone project was introduced. The book needed to be updated to include what had been learned through that extraordinary event. During the 1997 encounter, a physical visitation event was orchestrated from my New Jersey home by a group of extraterrestrial beings identifying themselves as members of a guardian group called the Syrian-Arcturian Coalition for Interplanetary Defense. Later, I learned that this group is a member of the larger Guardian Alliance. In the early morning hours of October 25th, 1997, following a spontaneous neighborhood power blackout orchestration of an eerie syncopated, is that how you say that word? Syncopated light display and mysterious wrappings in my daughter's bedroom, I was physically escorted outdoors to a waiting craft that hovered in near silence over my home. My escorts were semi-solid beings claiming to be of Arcturian origin, and though their race was unfamiliar to me, the escorts Drelov and Chantal seemed non-threatening. I accompanied them without resistance, as did my then 5-year-old daughter and a visiting UFO investigator who had come to explore other odd phenomena that I had recently reported. We were taken via blue beam into a craft that hovered over my home. We were then transported to a massive Arcturian mother craft named Ashalam. The investigator and I were separately given a private tour of the craft, then brought to a large auditorium where other humans waited for a lecture to be held on the state of current Earth affairs. In the lecture, the various unrelated groups of humans attending were provided with incredible technical data explaining the upcoming Bridge Zone project, the approaching time continuum shift, intruder extraterrestrial agendas, the Draco Zeta resistance, and the necessity for humans to take action now. We were asked to share what we had learned and to begin assisting others to protect themselves from intruder manipulation and in preparing for the time continuum shift. A full account of the October 25th, 1997 encounter can be found in Contact Forum, the Journal of the Fifth World, January-February 1998 issue, Volume 6, Number 1. Before the Voyager's book could go to press, the new information was to be incorporated into the text. So in early June 1998, I busied myself with these last-minute preparations. Little did I know at the time, how far a journey I would travel before the Voyager's book was complete. I felt as if I lived several decades during the span of 3 months that it took me to bring this book to a close. Over the last 3 months, the Voyager series has undergone a transformation, and with it, my personal life has also been transformed. On June 26, 1998, I received a vivid, subtle contact experience during a meditation. In this experience, a being came to me in a vision, and suddenly I found myself in a state of bilocation. While fully awake and aware in my living room, I was also simultaneously wide awake and embodied in a new environment that looked vaguely familiar to me from earlier teleportation abduction experiences. Oddly, in this encounter, I was not in my astral body for a mental bilocation journey, a state of awareness with which I am quite accustomed, but rather I knew that my physical cells had somehow been duplicated, My awareness was stationed simultaneously in two versions of my physical body in two separate locations. The place to which I was taken was somewhat familiar, but I did not know its location. However, the being that brought me to this place was quite familiar to me. She is a human guardian extraterrestrial hybrid named Charliamia. I knew Charliamia well, as she was the product of a missing fetus pregnancy abduction I had experienced in 1995. The 1995 event was quite traumatic for me at the time, but later in early 1997 I was taken by guardians via teleportation abduction to meet the child that had been removed from my body in order to ensure her survival. I observed in awe that a child that should technically have been no more than 2 years of age appeared to be the size of a 6-year-old human and had the maturity and intelligence equivalent to that of an adult human genius. On June 26, 1998, Charliamia, or is it Charliamia or Charliamia? I think it's Charliamia, made contact with me at the request of the Guardian Alliance and somehow split me in two to bring me to this mysterious place. Gazing around what happened to be the interior of a massive crystal-lined cave, I asked Charliamia where this beautiful place was located. She told me, "You have entered the halls of Amente via the Hawaiian Portal Passage." Prior to this experience, I had never heard this name before. Charliamia proceeded to tell me that something terribly important had just occurred on this 26th day of June, an event that Guardians had hoped and prayed for, but did not expect to take place. Excitedly, she repeated several times, "The arc is sparked," as I looked at her numbly, lacking comprehension. Then we were met by several other human-looking guardians, and I was told that I would be given a Keylontic transmission to translate regarding this event, and that when I was through translating the data, I would understand. I was taken to a crystalline chamber with the crystal cave room in which we stood. Once inside, the chamber filled with intense blue light that began to vibrate through my cells. I knew that I was being programmed with the transmission in digital data form. The blue light reached a level of intensity and high-pitched frequency filled the chamber. Suddenly I lost consciousness in my double body and was once again singly focused within my body in the living room. As I sat on the couch, intense waves of electrical energy passed through my body, and when I closed my eyes I could clearly see these waves of ultra-blue light within my inner vision. I sat very still, observing the waves and feeling of near rapturous sensations they created within my body cells. After several minutes, the waves slowed and the energy settled into my nervous system. Suddenly, millions of Keylontic symbols flashed through my mind and inner vision so rapidly they almost blurred. As this phenomenon subsided, a sudden burst of knowledge just opened up inside of me. I suddenly remembered large blocks of my incarnational history. I remembered why I had come to Earth this time around and how all of my incarnations had been part of the same purpose. Sitting motionless on the couch, I fully remembered myself as an eternal soul for the first time in this lifetime. The purpose for all my past experiences of extraterrestrial encounters, visitations, and abductions became crystal clear, and I became to consciously remember my soul agreements with other humans here to assist Earth in her coming changes. Information and memory flashed through my mind, and my body cells seemed to sing with recognition. More and more pieces of my personal history poured through me, and the memory expanded to include human history over vast amounts of time. Then some deeper part of me responded with recognition that consciously I did not possess. The deeper self said, "Wait, what has happened? That information has not been available on Earth or accessible to Earth humans for 5 million years. My personality did not know, but my soul self understood that something big had happened." The Charliamia telepathically whispered in my mind. "The arc has sparked." Charliamia again repeated, the seal on the arc has resealed, the Ark of the Covenant has opened. Suddenly the memory stopping racing through my mind, and my sense of expanded consciousness pulled in a little. I felt a huge quantity of electrical data being pulled into my auric field and knew the Keylontic transmission was ready for translation. As the experience ended, I was awestruck with what had just passed through me. It had moved so quickly that I could hardly catch any of it to translate into words. The bits of memory and cognition I could retain involved my personal incarnational history and an odd knowing that I had repeatedly incarnated as a member of a soul group called the Keepers of the Blue Flame. But I would not rediscover what that term meant until completing translation of the Keylontic transmissions. I was told in the dream state that evening that the new transmission must be translated as soon as possible and added to the existing Voyager's books. When I began translation of this material, I had no idea how extensive this edition would become or that I would be given first-hand experience in the subject matter discussed. From June 27th, 1998 until the day of this writing, September 14th, 1998, I have spent the majority of my days and nights in translation. Everything contained within the updated material is completely new to me. I learned as I translated. Several times during the translation of this material, I received powerful infusions of energy running through my body as I transcribed, energy that could be seen through the inner vision as blue waves of light. Toward the end of this transmission, I came to understand that these waves represented the beginning of a blue wave infusion that accompanied my personal heart star solar activation. I knew absolutely nothing about these things prior to June 26 encounter, but suddenly I was living the realities of which the Guardians had spoken. I learned of soul contracts and those I personally came to serve. I learned of the Palladorians and the priest of Ur, whom I had encountered various times since childhood, but never knew by name. Throughout this 3-month period of translating the Guardians, June 26, 1998, Keylontic transmission, I have been personally transformed in the ways words cannot describe. It has been a soul awakening. The Voyager series has also been transformed. Voyager's Secrets of Amente was born. I know that the information contained within the updated pages may seem utterly unbelievable to many people. We have such a small concept of the nature of our race that it may be hard to fathom the true greatness hidden within our evolutionary blueprint. It may be difficult to imagine that the universe is as glorious as it truly is after viewing it in such limited terms for so many eons. Do I personally believe the things of which the Guardians have spoken? You bet I do. I am living the reality of these experiences. Are stellar wave activations and infusions real? They certainly seem to be real when I feel this energy periodically rush through my cells, expanding my consciousness and triggering greater amounts of memory within me, bringing me ever closer to feeling at one-ment with my soul and with the universe. Or when blue wave infusions begin during the dream state and astral projection then propel me back into my body with such force that the physical body glows hot with vibrating blue energy running through its cells. The concept of wave infusions is also quite convincing when observing large sheets of violet light cascading through the atmosphere within the room. Though the violet light sheets do not occur frequently, I have witnessed this effect for a few other people on several occasions. Will I do as the Guardians suggest and begin to prepare my body for stellar activations and DNA assembly? You bet I will, if for no other reason than what if they are right? The Guardians have repeatedly demonstrated to me that they know what they are talking about. I am now paying close attention to what they have to say. They have earned my respect with the incredible logic of the data they provide, and they have earned my love through this incredible transformation, healing events of soul integration I have been privileged to experience through my work with the Guardian Alliance. They have certainly accelerated my spiritual evolution. Now it is time to discover if indeed cellular evolution can also be accelerated. Before the June 26, 98 transmission, words as or words such as the spheromente, morphogenetic waves, stellar activations, star crystal seals, and stellar spiral alignments meant nothing to me. I had never heard of these terms before. As far as I was concerned, the Ark of the Covenant represented a fictitious box of something other than that was sought in the Indiana Jones movie. The concept of Peladorian birthing contracts and contract bonds, coming avatars, and indigo children were also new to me. The history of these races, as represented in this transmission, was utterly foreign to me, yet felt right intuitively and in terms of biological cellular memory. I now feel privileged and grateful to have access to such information. The Guardian's teachings offer tools of empowerment for those who are ready to learn. I consider myself an avid and attentive student of the Guardian Alliance. This book is written for those who are on the path of awakening, for those who intrinsically know they are meant to become voyagers, or sense they are members of the blue or violet flame soul groups. But it is also written for others who would like to understand the changes facing humanity at this junction of time and space, and for those who seek effective methods through which these changes can be handled. This book is a primer and serves to set the elaborate conceptual foundations through which understanding of the present human condition can be accomplished. This book is intended for those who are ready to understand the multidimensional drama of which Earth has always been part of. I hope the knowledge contained within this book may inspire, uplift, and empower the reader as it has done so for me. God bless you, and may your voyage to awakening be sweet and rapture-filled. Ashiana Dean. That's September 14th, 1998. And then it goes into this little prayer. I guess we'll just read this. I am a child of the original one. I am a ray of the original sun. I am wholeness. I am love. I am the truth that spans the sands of time. I am the rainbow of the very first shine. I am music. I am light. Let the light descend upon me. Guide the way with golden light. No other God will stand before me. As I embrace the one true life, I was born to live by the will of the original one. I am a face of the original God. I am a voice of the original sound. I am a wave upon the ocean of eternal light. Reach my arms up into the heavens and say, I am this, I am. The presence of the ancient one springs forth at my command. I am one with God. I am this, I am. And as I decree it, so it is. Okay. And then there's okay, we'll continue this one in another upload. This is, I guess this is chapter 13, emergency release. So, yeah, we'll continue that in another upload.